Welcome back to Realcomm Live. I am very excited about this conversation, Dave. So great to see you.
Good to be here.
I'll start by saying I hope you can get me 5 minutes with your mayor, because if you can't, she's going to get a letter that basically says this could quite possibly be the best Realcomm in 26 years.
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to hear. We love hearing that.
Well, and maybe it's because of the evolution of our conference, but I will tell you, I've been to a lot of cities, and we moved this conference around intentionally so real estate people from around the country can see different cities. And we always try to go to an innovative place. We were in Orlando. We took everybody to Lake Nona, a digital district. We've been to Chicago. We've been to San Francisco. I mean, you name it, we've been there. And when I first came here and actually met you, we kind of fell in love with it. But the more I walk it, the more I drive it, the more I just meander around. I was sitting at the waterfront the other day, and I said, somebody, and I hopefully after this conversation I'm going to know who that is, and I know you guys are part of it, did a really good job designing this city.
Well, we're all part of the growth,
right?
And the success.
But 5 hotels pointing at a convention center on the water, in a convention center with windows, doors that move, and hospitality like we've never seen. A plus.
That's good
Great
to hear.
job.
That's good to hear. Well, listen, Tampa's definitely in a growth mode. It's one of the few growth markets right now in the U.S. There is so much going on, not just with us on Water Street, but if you look throughout the Tampa Bay region, St. Pete, and Clearwater, all the growth that's happening in Tampa Bay, everybody's very proud of it.
But I've seen bad growth.
Yes, and this is smart growth.
I have seen cities that I loved ruined by the industry I love.
Yes, I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
And so
I agree.
Now that we've seen things that work and don't, the walkway all the way up to Armature Works. I mean, we took people on the craft boat, an innovative idea, right? Not just a normal boat.
Yeah.
And everybody was just so chill. It felt like I was in a river in Europe. And all of a sudden we see 4 million people running, must have been a running club or something. They're outdoors, they're having fun, they're healthy. I mean, I was in a session room the other day, and last year I was in a hotel I won't name, and second day you're tired and you're in a box. I was sitting there, I go, I'm not tired at all. I was looking out at the water, there was energy in the room. I think this convention center actually uplifted everybody to have a better event.
It's invigorating. I'll tell you, it's a lot to do with timing, vision, capital. I mean, the confluence of those 3 things coming together has had a huge impact on what we're seeing in the way of Tampa's growth. I like to say we're in about the 3rd inning of our growth, Jim. Wow. I mean, we got a long way to go.
So before we get into some specific questions, tell me a little bit about the company and the partnerships and who's involved in the vision.
Sure. So Strategic Property Partners, we're the development platform for Water Street Tampa. So we were formed in 2014. And from that point, we started the master planning. In 16, a lot of the road work started, so doing a lot of the master planning between 14 and 16. Then the road work started. We can talk a little bit about district cooling, but 2 miles.
That's right.
2 miles of pipes going under the streets. That was very important for district cooling. Then we went vertical in 18, and then we completed phase 1 in 22. So there's a lot that we've jammed into a short period of time, but that's the amount of time it takes. I mean,
the vibrancy. I mean, we're going to talk about the tech and the innovation in a minute, but the design, the vibrancy, the location. We stayed at the Edition Hotel.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's top 3 hotel. I travel internationally, and it's one of my top 3.
Yeah,
really, really great job, great vibe. Again, the design, the thoughtfulness, engaging lobby, lots of energy. Go up to the rooftop. We were watching salsa dancing one night. It was just crazy.
Well, and it doesn't happen overnight, and all this is intentional. What I mean by is that a lot of the vision and the hard work went in up front, and we were on the road. I mean, we got on the road to see other markets from coast to coast. I mean, you go to Austin, to Nashville, go to Atlanta, go to New York, Boston. I mean, we were everywhere, just looking at ideas relative to other big urban.
You must have been listening to my conversation walking here this morning from Starbucks. I said, whenever a developer tells me they're innovative and they're building a massive project, I have one question. And you said travel here, but I say, if you're building these mega projects, I said, Dubai, Singapore, Shanghai. I said, they're not willing to get on airplanes.
Yeah.
And you don't need to necessarily go international. I mean, there's a whole other layer out there, but the fact that you got on airplanes and studied it, I mean, some people do more homework going on vacations than they do on their real estate projects.
Well, and keep in mind, we're going to these markets to see what has worked and what has not. So lessons learned, to take those, and when you understand and study what other markets have done right, it's kind of easy. But when you study them to understand what they've done wrong and pivot and make certain you're avoiding those pitfalls.
Why don't more developers do that homework?
You know, I think when you look at other mixed-use developments, there's multiple ownerships, so all of them have their own agendas. So it's a little bit easier with a really, single ownership for us. With Jeff and Cascade and now Cascade. So it's really facilitated a much better and seamless path to getting entitlement, design, entitlement, construction.
The advice I would give to anybody that is doing major projects like you've done here is study you, right? And not study the organization, study the methodology, study the interpersonal relationships, because I'm telling you firsthand, I've experienced it, and it makes a difference.
So trust me, we get calls almost weekly for folks who want to come in and really understand what we've done.
Right. So let's get into the technology innovation side. When I first met you and you were gracious enough to walk me around and show me some of your facilities, you took me to the Leasing Innovation Center.
Yep.
And you showed me a model of the city, cardboard wood, and I've seen those a lot. But what was different is you took a real engine projector and put colors on it that was driven by data, so you could show me all office blue, all retail green, occupancy red, yellow. I have not seen that any other place other than Singapore, Dubai, and Shanghai.
Yes.
And I criticize US developers a lot for not keeping up with what's going on internationally. And they say, no, the best buildings are here in the United States. I say, you need to go to other places in the world to see it. When I saw that, I go, these guys are paying attention. Where did that come from?
So we needed something that would tell the story, because for us to go out and just have collateral, hard collateral, like marketing brochures and so forth, it doesn't really effectively tell the story. So by having a very dynamic digital marketing center that would allow folks to come in, listen, we're using it as, it's really become, it's a community center in addition to telling the story about our development in Tampa Bay. It is. It gets used that way. I mean, sure, the mayor comes in and the chamber, we use it with the chamber, the Tampa Bay EDC, we use it as a community center. But we knew early on that we need something different to effectively tell the story. So a lot of thought went into the design and implementation. It was delivered, believe it or not, timing's everything. So we delivered it February of 20, and then March of 20 shows out. Wow. So we were very careful with our COVID protocols, slowly bringing people back in. And the thing is that it really helps to illustrate almost in a 3D nature what the development will look like, even though it's not there.
Because I'm real estate tech and I've seen stuff like this, it's like, it's telling a story.
It is.
But I have been to some of the biggest projects in this country, massive, and I get a brochure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what in your DNA, in executive leadership's DNA said, we're going to write the check to do this?
Well, again, we needed something that was going to be different to tell the story.
But you made a decision to tell the story differently.
We did, and this is the most unique marketing center, one of the most unique in the world, as you pointed out, and certainly in the U.S.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, the return on investment, the ROI on this, it's incalculable.
Well, when you're bringing forget the technical communications.
Yeah.
When you're bringing a prospective tenant in, and this is the way you're showing them the project, and the last place they looked at the 200,000 square feet, handed them a brochure. Is there a marketing benefit?
No. And the other benefit is, it's hot summer, so when we could open it up, and we're going full bore on our marketing, and we're going vertical. We're under construction. It's hot summer, and a lot of folks would prefer to be in the comfort of an air-conditioned marketing center that is truly unique versus going and walking the site in 95-degree weather. So.
I'm telling you, because I was there. That center is on par with Palm Island in the world in Dubai, because I've been in their marketing centers, and they're elegant and they were engaging and immersive. And we came back and we showed pictures, and nobody did it. And I wasn't kidding you when I said to you, I said thank you, because I've been looking for this in the United States for 20 years.
But it tells the story in a different way too.
It does.
It's enhanced with
we've
got videos. It is Disney-esque.
It's
Disney-esque, and it has been amazing. Now we're, as we start to pivot to phase 2, we're going to retool it, change it up a little bit. It's going to be the same, but we just need to enhance it as we change out.
I wish you would hold classes on how to develop projects. And I'm telling you, I've seen it all globally, and you guys are checking a lot of the boxes.
Thank you. We're very,
so
very proud of it.
Another investment. We gave a little shout out to Halo Networks in our general session yesterday.
Yeah.
Tony, know him well. Basically, you blanketed the whole district with very, very, I mean, I've seen his little colo center or whatever. And why don't other people do this? I mean, you said people have cell phones, they need 5 bars.
Yeah.
And you made collectively an investment to bring good wireless broadband to this district. Where did that decision come from?
So we don't call it a smart city, we call it a connected city. It's a connected environment because, the ability to have a universal access network that provides, ubiquitous 5G throughout the district is so vitally important. We want people to live, if they live or work or they're dining and entertaining here, really a frictionless, experience. And that's exactly what it does. So through our smart
I heard
poles,
the hotel has gotten increased occupancy because people actually recognize the enhanced experience.
I think that's a true statement.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, it's the experience.
Yeah,
it's certainly the experience when people get here. But you need the technology to deploy into a large, it's 5.2 million square feet is phase 1, and to keep that all connected, you need technology
You have poured the highway. I mean, now you can drive your car.
And it's a capital lift, I'm telling you, it's not cheap.
No,
but it's worth it now. And we're seeing, it's really exceeded our expectations as far as the technologies we've deployed. We're Wired Score, the building 1001 is Wired Score Platinum. It's one of the first Wired Score Platinum buildings in the US. So
something is subtle, and you're going to think this is crazy, but I look for this stuff. When I walked in and I saw those eye posters on wheels in the lobby, I said, most developers will nail things to the wall. And then, maybe the traffic isn't going down that hall.
Yeah.
Well, the traffic's not in that hall, you move, and they've been moving around. I'm going, we had those at our show 6 years ago, right? And we bring them here, show them, take these back to your project.
Yeah.
Again, you guys are the ones.
Do something different.
Do something different.
Do
something different. You mentioned the district cooling. Can you just, for those people who aren't familiar with it, a little bit of detail?
Sure. District cooling, so we laid 2 miles of piping starting in 2016. We were doing a lot of the road, before the roads were laid and we were creating the road network. So we laid 2 miles of pipe under all the streets. And what that does, we're pumping chilled water from district cooling to our multifamily, through our towers, so the 3 of them, and to the office building. So what that does, from a scalability standpoint, it eventually will provide those efficiencies that we need, but it also removes the chillers from the rooftop.
Get you more real estate.
Which gets more real estate for rooftop terraces and conference space and amenity space.
The word that just keeps coming to my mind is thoughtful.
Yeah.
Really just not taking anything for granted.
Well, thank you.
So we're going to run out of time. We got a whole bunch of other things. Can I invite you back to a Realcomm Live that we do on Fridays? You just can sit at your desk, and I want to go through the rest of these items. But I just can't say thank you, and seriously, the mayor's going to get an email. I may even try to pop over to her office and just say thank you.
I think Jane would enjoy that.
Because I am telling you, we do a lot of these in this city, these buildings, your project, top of the list.
Good.
Top of the list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great seeing you.
Great to see you. Thank you again.
Come back to Tampa anytime.
We probably will. Realcomm Live out.